It
What's
actually.
up, everybody? This your girl CC, Where It Begins magazine, and it is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. I have a special,
Oh, happy hump day.
right? I have a special guest on the line with me today. I'm gonna let him introduce himself of who he is and what he does.
Uh-oh. Me, little old me. What's up, everybody? My name is Marcus, aka I go by Mr. Victory or Nothing, aka the Marcus of Ceremony, because Mr. Victory or Nothing is a radio moniker that I do, but it also stems from a clothing brand that I started. And the Marcus of Ceremony is from the MC and hosting services company that I started, where I MC and host events. What's up?
What's up? What's up? But why that's being said, how did you come up with the name Mr. Victory, and what's the meaning behind that?
Okay, so the name of the clothing brand, it was Victory Everywhere. So then this was our VE. This is my Wizards version of that because I'm from DC. So you can see the little basketball at the top. But I used to hashtag everything. When I posted something, I would hashtag victory or nothing. And at first it stemmed from like, yo, because this is all I wear. Like, you won't see me out and I have some victory on. But then it literally, from the motivating aspect of it, it was just like, there was the hashtag as well. It was victory or nothing. Like, I'm winning or nothing else. Like, I think it was the movie, was it Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby was like, if you ain't first, you last, shake and bake. It was like a playoff for that. It's like, if you not first, it don't matter if you second, you last. And so I was like, victory or nothing. So I was already doing the radio podcast and stuff. And like people was just calling me Marcus. But then I started interviewing people, and like people just kept saying, oh, that's Mr. Victory, or that's Mr. Victory. So I just made that my name. Mr. Victory or nothing. That's my radio. That's my logo right there. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you from my hometown, Washington, D.C. What is three things you love about D.C.?
Yo, honestly, I tell people all the time, I really love being from DC. It's so number one is we have our own style, I guess. So like growing up, particularly in the 90s when I grew up, it was like, yo, everybody wanted to be New York. So like they wore Air Force Ones like them. And like, you know what I'm saying? Everything stemmed from New York. DC is not like that. Like we into New Balance, we into phone pauses, we into Nike boots. Those are just shoes or whatever. But it's just like DC has its own unique like style. That's number one. Two,
Right.
I mean, it's the perfect blend of culture and power. So like, I mean, this is where the government is. It's like, yo, we reside. So that's number two. And number three, just the subculture. Like we just have our, I talked about style, but we have our own subculture. Like go-go is not, still doesn't get its props nationwide like it should. Like it's literally been a subgenre that just gets looked away. The food, the mumbo sauce with the chicken wings, like it's just it's a culture rich town, and I just don't think our city gets enough love for as much as everybody knows DC and whatnot. It just doesn't get as much love across the nation. So we repping it hard.
Okay. Well, you have a great platform. I actually was on one of your interviews. I love it. So you definitely got to tell us about your platform that you have going there, and where do you see this platform going?
So I have a platform. I call it the moment of victory. Because again, everything is victory related with me for the most part. If it's not MC related, it's victory related. The moment of victory essentially is a twofold. Is a sit down I have with folks, literally for a moment. I try not to do them more than 15, 20 minutes, but that platform is used to just interview entrepreneurs or artists or whatever the case may be. And it's mainly to talk, is to take a moment, one, to talk about the moment that they decided that they want to do whatever it is they're doing. What if they wanted to, the moment they decided they wanted to be an artist, the moment they decided they wanted to be an entrepreneur or whatever. But I feel like I've limited myself with it from the
Mm-hmm.
standpoint that, oh, I can only do like people who have something going for them, like artists or entrepreneurs or whatever. So in 2022, I'm actually going to open it up to just everyday people, because everyday people go through something and there's a moment. What really made me think about it was you saying set it off, right?
Yes.
So I always say set it off is a great example of making a decision in a moment. Mine is Cleo. All of them were good women for the most part. Like Frankie worked at the bank just every day. Stoney was taking care of her brother or whatever. And then like something happened that made them all do it. And it's in those moments that like shape us as people. Like we could go this way or we could go that way. And so I'm going to open it up in 2022, not just to like artists or entrepreneurs, but just everyday folks, because everybody has a story. Everybody can uplift someone in some way or whatever. So I use the moment of victory essentially to just talk about those moments where we make the decisions where we want to do good things and avoid the bad.
I love it. I love that concept. I love anybody that's doing something positive for the community and for the world and for the people. So I definitely want to give you your shout out and your flowers today for doing that for us in this community. But can you tell people what has been the biggest challenge of yours going through this transition of your new journey in this business?
So the biggest challenge I think has always been in the transition. And what I mean by that is this started out, I was only selling the clothes, the hoodies, the tees, the hats or whatever. But my major in school, I was a communications major, but unfortunately, and this goes with a concentration in media criticism. Like I had a radio show in college, all that stuff. And this actually goes back to those moments. Like I also grew up job poor. And so I had the opportunities to do internships and stuff at the radio stations up here. But in college, I was working because like we didn't have the money. I was paying for school, like all that stuff. And so in that moment, I made the decision that really has affected my career because I'm just late in what I was doing. Like whereas I could have went and took care of all this in them internships in school, and then I could be doing this full time because it's what I love to do. But from the standpoint of the transition is, all right, even though I went to school for this, people first knew me from the clothes. So making the transition from the clothes to like the talking and the interviewing, people were just like, oh, does he know what he's doing? Like, do they take you serious? That transition to even the transition of going the positive route. And what I mean by that is, so like people who went to school with me, they would say, you know, I wasn't the best person. I'm so cool with people that I wasn't cool with in college that I am now, because gotten a lot of fights, just everything. So making that transition to be positive, that's been a difficult one too, is because while you're motivating and uplifting people, like that stuff starts to get in you. And it's like, I can't motivate and uplift you when I still think so little about myself. So it's been difficult. It's like, you don't want to be one of the people who don't practice what they preach. And so I can't, and people used to say that all the time, I can't give you all this word and all these good gems and everything else. And then secretly, when I'm at home by myself in bed, like I'm depressed all the time and I do this. So that's been the toughest part, is really trying to live what you're trying to instill in other people.
Okay. I love it. But since we talked about your challenges, what has been your biggest accomplishment or biggest award that you've ever received? Come on now, you know you wear a hat of all praise. You got a lot of awards over there.
Oh, not necessarily awards, but one of the things I will say is, so transparent moment.
Okay.
My last co-host apparently just dropped me from the show. I can't tell you why. She didn't tell me. She blocked me and everything else. And then people that I knew told me, like, they sent me the video where she was like, yo, I'm looking for a new co-host. But with that, I will say she's not the first co-host I've had. I've had 3 different shows. And so I guess I'm going to say my greatest award is, yo, every time something happens or something else ends, another opportunity presents itself. Like I've never not been without a show as long as I've doing this over there, because people be like, oh, you free, yo, let's do something together. Like the let's work, let's do something is the biggest reward I can receive from people, because that means people mess with me and they like what I'm doing. And the fact that that always happens, that's the greatest. I don't need to like win an award, get a certificate, whatever the case may be, because the people mess with me. And every time there's an opportunity, people are trying to work with
me. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. As long as they keep on coming to you, your blessings is coming. I love it. But I gotta ask this question: why I don't have no shirt, no hat, no nothing? I don't have the VE going on over here. I need the VE to support over here.
Look here. Look, so guess what's about to happen? When this is over, you're gonna give me your info, you're gonna send me your sizes, and you're gonna get a care package.
Oh,
we gonna nip that problem in the bud right now.
I love that. I love that. But since you gonna give me all that stuff, then I'll have to send you a Where It Begins shirt on there, and then
Hey, look,
get that out to you also. So you gotta
I
send me your
wear
information.
I do all of that, man. I'm really big on supporting small business, mainly, Black owned businesses. I just think like we're so far behind when it comes to finances and like the system and everything else. And while it's not anti-white, it's just pro-Black, and it's just like I want to push us. So if I got a WIB, I support tons of other clothing brands and everything else, but it's all good because people wear Louis Vuitton and Gucci. People wore Polo and Tommy Hilfiger back. They like this narrative that, oh, you can only do this or that. Nah, it's not. So I will definitely support you and what you got going on and wear your shirt. And they'd be like, I'll be like, oh yeah, man, she run a magazine, man. You should get with her.
Well, thank you. I sure appreciate you. But I want to get a little bit personal. I want people to know who you are. So, what is one fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact?
Yes, a fun fact.
I'm not funny. Yo, people think I'm funny, but I'm not funny. Oh, even better. So, I'm an aspiring rapper, but I don't want to be a rapper, if that makes sense. I like making music. I like putting the bars and constructing them together, but I don't want to be a rapper. So when I tell people I have some stuff, like I have a friend that I've known since childhood and was getting my hair done, and she was just like, nah, twin, nah, don't be no rapper. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to be a rapper. I just like making music. So I like being creative. That's music, that's writing, that's saying funny stuff online, whatever the case may be.
Okay. All right. I like that. So, out of all the places you've been in the world, what has been your favorite one and why?
Favorite place?
Yes.
So I haven't been out of the country that much. I'm late to the travel game. So I'm one of those people, like it's easy to get stuck in places. So like we grew up job poor or whatever. And so like we didn't travel. Like I tell people, I don't have family outside of the DC, Maryland area. When I lived in Virginia, I was literally the only person in my family that's ever lived in Virginia. So I haven't been out of the country that much. But if I was to say in the country, man, Texas has really good food. I'm a foodie, so Texas has really good food. I take it back. Cleveland. I enjoyed Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
I enjoyed Cleveland. Didn't know LeBron was there, nothing, but I enjoyed Cleveland. I'm gonna say Cleveland.
So what did you enjoy about it?
It's So I will say it's a very poor city. It's a
Okay.
very poor city. Though it's come up, it's a very poor city. But normally in those type of, and maybe I can relate to it because I grew up poor, but in those type of places, like there's more community. So like people are cooler, people
Mm.
are friendlier. Um, yeah, scratch that, not Cleveland. I just take it back.
Oh
Atlanta.
my
It,
gosh.
I'm saying Atlanta, and here's why. I know that's easy to say, but in my newfound pro-blackness over the last year, Atlanta is just a black ass city, like a mayor. Like it's so
Mm.
many opportunities. The history of Atlanta, like with the airports and that, like, I gotta go with Black Hollywood. I gotta go with Black Hollywood. I gotta go with Black Hollywood.
Okay, all right. Well, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I want to go back to the serious side. What's the best piece of advice that you ever received?
The best piece of advice that I ever received. Um, so I got a couple that I could pull from, but the best was I don't know if it's necessarily advice, but it was something somebody said. It was actually a rapper. I'm not gonna say who because he, you know,
Right. I
but
got you.
the bar was he said, no one man is smarter than the next. It's the one who works hardest that achieves success. And when
Mm.
I heard that, I was just like, I've heard that type of thing before, but something about hearing that, oh no, actually, no, that was Nick Grant. I don't have an issue with Nick Grant. That was Nick Grant. Shout out Nick Grant. But I have heard that before. I've heard like Diddy say that before. He was just like, yo, we have the same 24 hours.
Mhm.
Everybody has the same 24. I've heard Will Smith say, whoever works the hardest wins. And so, like, I have this Mr. Victory moniker. So when I hear something like whoever works the hardest win, did he say we all have the same 24 hours? How do you use your Nick Grant say no one man is smarter than the next, is the one who works harder? It just reminded me that it's not going to happen. It's not going to be given to you. You have to work for it. And I think that's why I grind so hard with this victory stuff and this book and this MCing and this having, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you want something, you gotta work for it. And so, yes, that's it.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned that book, I need to know more information. So tell us about this book that's coming out and when it's gonna come out, the name of the book, what it's about. I need the exclusive on here.
So the funny thing was, I legit have not come up with the title yet. So I'm
Ooh,
open to suggestions. But it's essentially, I'm really big on Black entrepreneurship. And so the book is geared literally toward 12 to 20-year-olds. And it's
okay.
literally just to show them another avenue. When we were growing up, it was you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, like, you know what I'm saying? But then, like, as I've grown over the years, I've met people, so like George Floyd and all this other crazy Black stuff that's been going on in America the last 5 6 years, 8 years. I think Trayvon Martin goes all the way back to like 11, that he's the one who sparked all this. But pre all of this crazy stuff, I used to really have white friends. I still have some, but I don't like I used to. And I had this one friend, he was in medical school at the time. And he said
Okay.
when he was young, like 6 7 8, his mother used to, they'd be at the dinner table and his mother would be like, no, cut your meat like this. And he basically said she was prepping him to be a surgeon. Hence, he was
Mm.
in medical school. And I was just like, yo, we as Black people, I don't think we do that enough. But not only that, like that we don't prep our kids for greatness, like we as a community seem to only think that the only way we could get money or get the millions is by being entertainers and athletes. So the book is just to give 12 to 20-year-olds, because right before teenage, right before adult, like just to spark interest in getting going the entrepreneur route or getting a trade or something. Like what people forget is the trades were how we thrived as Black people before they used to have shop and home ec and all that stuff in high schools and stuff that we didn't have, but that was how Black people, were profiting. They did the trades, and then of course entrepreneurship, having your own, being an owner or whatever. So it's just something to spark in their brain. So just to give you, this is quickly how my intro starts, and I'm paraphrasing it, but I talked about in every city you go to, there's a Chinatown, there's Little Italy's, there's Spanish Harlem's, like there's places like that. I was like, what is the Black area in most cities? It's the ghetto. Like most Black areas and cities are impoverished areas, and it's just like, so it starts off like that, let it know that like we're behind the 8 ball, but you are at an age where you can start thinking of other ways. And I have things like, there were people who were entrepreneurs that I didn't know were entrepreneurs in high school or whatever. Like this one chick, right, I called her Candy Girl. She used to buy like packs of candy, Airheads, things of that nature from like Costco and Sam's Club and all that stuff, but then she would sell them individually. I didn't know what the term was in 9th grade, but now I know the term. She's an entrepreneur. So, when you paid $6 for that box of candy, and then you sell each individual piece for 50 cents or $1, whatever it is, like you've already made that $6 and more. So I didn't know what that term was back then. We didn't have a lot of examples. We didn't talk about it. And so the book is just to give the younger people, just to spark their interest in, you don't have to just go to college, or you don't have to be a rapper or an athlete or a singer or whatever to make it happen. So,
okay, well,
I've never told anybody that. I've never told anybody that. You really just got the exclusive.
Well, thanks for giving us the exclusive today. But are you ready to go into our little fun game that we have going on today? It's very easy.
Let's go. I'm easy, so I'm not like that, but.
All right. So my first question is, if you could travel to any year in a time machine, what year would you choose and why?
You mean from a personal standpoint or like a fictional standpoint?
It's up to you on how you want to answer that question.
So I always tell people it's two things I regret in life. And so I would either go back to 98, 99, that was junior year of high school. I actually quit football that year. I ended up playing again senior year, but I quit that year. And I just felt like, so like I said, we grew up poor or whatever. And like, I just wanted to help my mom. And so I ended up getting a job. Okay. My mother hated that. She did not want me to get the job, but she was like, yo, you got the rest of your life, you're going to be working. Enjoy being a kid like that. And so I wish I did actually listen to her and not do that. And so 98, 99 would be one of them, just because like she was absolutely right. I should have just enjoyed that time, played football or whatever. Even though I went back next year and played, ended up like going to college and playing football and everything. I just wish I would have listened to her. So number one. Number two, when I was transferring from my first school, we don't give them shine. There was a lot of issue there in college. I literally was transferring. I was trying to transfer to Delaware State, and there were just issues, last minute issues, and I wasn't able to go there. So that other time, these are just personal, I'd go back to. So the other time would be January 2002, because I was transferring. I was trying to go to Delaware State, and it was, yo, you went to a PWI, now go HBCU. And it's just like, that's my biggest regret. I didn't go to an HBCU. So if I could go back, I would have just tried to figure it out and make the Delaware State thing work.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm learning something new about you every day. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you playing football.
But I do have a not a fictional one, but I wish I could go back to, it was a concert. It was an Outkast concert, the last concert Outkast performed. I wanted to go to that show so bad. And it was legit one of those. So my whole mindset has always just been stuck in DC because like I have no family out here. I mean, all
Right.
my family is here. Like we didn't go to Carolina for the summer and kick it with the
And stuff
family.
like that.
Like
I
my
got you.
whole family is in DC. And so back now I do it, but back then I would have never thought, man, I'm about to fly to Atlanta to go to a concert. Like, oh, I do that stuff now. Like
All right now.
so look, I go places now. So that'll be one, just something fun. Like I wish I could have been at that
Go
last
back
concert.
to definitely Outcast is awesome. I love it. All right. So my second question is, if you could be a part of a family on any TV show, which family would you choose and why?
That's a really good question. Oh, TV, really part of a family. Um, so hold up before we go. You mean family as in like mom, dad, yada yada yada, or just like cast family?
Yeah, like the family. Like another one of my interviewers, they put the good times. They love to be a part of that family
Oh
because
yeah.
of so and so and so.
First of all, that is not the family you want to be a part of. If
But they
that's
explained to me why they wanted to be in there, but you have to watch the interview for his answer, so I'm not going to give
okay.
that out. But I just
So
wanted to give that as an example. So,
if I had to say a family, then I'm going to say easily the Fresh Prince, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I honestly think Philip Banks does not get enough credit as like the best TV dad ever. Philip Banks is Cliff Huxtable and James Evans had a baby. Like he was funny, he was caring, but he was very stern and very strict, like when he needed to be. So like the episode when they got locked up and he was like, I'm gonna tie this jail in so much litigation, your grandchildren going, like he had them, like he was the perfect blend of cool and funny and caring, but strict and stern. Like, so yes, I go to Fresh Prince. Will's your cousin. If Carlton's your brother, like, yeah, I go Fresh. But
okay,
if you
okay.
just asking just to be a part of a family, I'm going to say A Different World. I would love to been a part of A Different World.
Oh, wow.
Cast
Why
family.
would you pick the different world?
Man, Different World is my second favorite sitcom of
Okay.
all time. Maybe even first. Well, Martin is number one. But yeah. A Different World is so ahead of its time. You talking about what, 5 years? 5 years, man. They tackled everything. They tackled date rape, they tackled
Yeah,
colorism, they tackled racism. You learn about just
that's
these
true.
different aspects and everything. Like it legitimately prepared you for life as a young black kid. And like a lot of television didn't do that. But like you really, one of the reasons I wanted to leave my old school was because there were racial issues. Now looking at it, we know Southwest Pennsylvania. I went to school in Pittsburgh. That's all I'm gonna say. But we know Southwest Pennsylvania as Trump country. But it's like coming from DC. Now DC is gentrified and everything now, but coming from DC when you're used to always being around black people, to yeah, you play football, but you're around a bunch of white people, it was
Mhm.
tough. And A Different World tackled all of these issues to help you legitimately prepare for life.
Okay. I like those answers. I love both of those TV shows, to be honest. So I give you credit on those. But before we get off, tell everybody where they can follow you.
Oh man, you could follow me depending on what you want to follow me for. You want to follow me for clothes or to see my interviews. Mr. Victory or Nothing on IG, Mr. Victory or Nothing on Twitter, Mr. Victory or Nothing YouTube channel. You'll see CC on there. You need a host. You need a MC or a host for any of your events. Marcus the ceremony. Replace the masters of ceremony with Marcus. Marcus the ceremony. Twitter, IG, website, Marcus the ceremony. MrVictoryOrNothing.com. Both of those are .com. Marcus the ceremony and MrVictoryOrNothing.com. Mr. Victory or Nothing. You can also see stuff there, and you can like purchase merch there. So.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thanks for being on our platform today. It was great talking to you. Keep on doing everything that you're doing. You know, I look forward to seeing everything that you got going on for 2022. It's a blessing that you're doing stuff for the community and doing stuff that's positive. So continue your journey, man. I see good things coming your way, and blessings, blessings, and blessings.
I'm gonna say one more thing, just because you said that. When we talk about doing things for the community or just doing things for in general, I think people think if it's not a big grand gesture or like something big that they're not getting done. Like, no, that's not the case. Do your small part. If everybody does their small part, if you mentor one child, and it doesn't have to legitimately be through a mentor program, but if it's like a youngster that you constantly checking in with, if everybody do the small things, man, we'll turn this world around. So
Amen.
I'm just doing my small part to change the world.
Well, that's all that needs to be done, doing your small part. Every little thing counts, you know what I'm saying? So as long as you can affect one person in the world, that's all that matters.
Hold up. I'm sorry. Before I go, I gotta ask you a question, right?
What? No, you don't have to ask me any questions. We already did an interview on your platform.
But you asked me a question on mine, so I'm supposed to ask you one on yours.
Go ahead. What you want to say?
What's your favorite? What is? Okay, you can watch our interview. It's okay. I'm gonna think. I'm going to behave. Cece's very pretty. I would say, what's your favorite thing?
What's my favorite what?
What's your favorite thing about me?
About you?
Yes.
My favorite thing about you, I always tell you, is I love your smile. You know that song?
Look, and I love your energy. Yo, I've never seen you like off. Like, I don't know if you know, like, that's just very encouraging and uplifting in itself. Like, we know everything's not perfect, but you're always up and you're always upbeat, and it's your energy is infectious, man. Don't let nobody take that away from you on this hump day.
That's that Libra.
You a Libra? Oh God. Now, if only we could get you to leave them cowgirls alone.
Oh no, baby. That's another story. We ain't gonna go there. But y'all make sure to check out his platform, and you'll see an interview of me on there. Make sure to tune in. Thanks again. You have a happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. Be good out there and be safe.
All right.
All right. Peace.